Jacko, mate, you've got to wake up.
What?
Wake up, mate.
Hey, Bob. Hey, Bob. What's up?
How are you, buddy? How you feeling?
I don't really know. Oh, it's bright. Where am I?
You're okay, mate. Look, what's the last thing you remember?
We're at the Knox Tavern. We were gearing up for an elimination final against the Giants. They don't like us in the finals, man. Oh, Tim English won a tap out, but Craig got it out to Dunkley, and Dunkley found Suckling with an open wing. He ran at least 30 metres and he kicked it. He banged it home from 60. We were on. How did we go? That's all I can remember. What happened? Did I have too much beer?
Oh my God. Is that the last thing you remember?
Yeah.
Okay, well, prepare yourself, mate.
Prepare for what?
It's May 2020.
What? No.
That game didn't end well for you, I'm afraid.
No. But we finished 7th. We always win a flag from 7th. We went on and won the flag, right?
It was an absolute drubbing.
We were in the best form in the comp, arguably. We found it again.
Look, mate, the Giants destroyed you. A lot's happened since then.
But what about this season, Bob? Like, how have we been going?
All right, mate, well, look, round 1 wasn't a very good result for you. The players really took you apart too. Oh, no, do not fucking cough. Do not cough at me.
Bob!
Do not cough in my general direction, mate.
Bob, what is wrong? What's with the mask? Why do you look like a doctor or a surgeon?
Okay, mate, look. There's a global pandemic. You're okay.
What?
The world's gone a bit batshit crazy. It's shut down for a while.
What do you mean, shut down?
Well, there's no footy. There's no NBA. All the sport's been turned off for the time being.
What do you mean? Oh, please tell me Liverpool didn't win the title.
Well, there you go. There's some good news.
But there's no sport, right?
No, there's no sport, mate. But there is, like, the greatest sports documentary you'll ever see at the moment. This basketball one, it's bloody amazing.
Oh, Mamba mentality, right? Kobe Bryant.
Oh, Jesus.
Jesus? What?
Kobe's dead, mate. It was an absolute tragedy.
No, you can't make those sorts of jokes, man.
I
just woke up, man. What do you want about?
I'm serious, mate. Absolute shocking circumstances. We lost one of the best.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
Really heartbreaking stuff.
But what about his wife and daughters, Bob? What about Vanessa, Natalia, Bianca, Capri, and Gigi?
Oh, no. I can't do this, mate. This is too hard. You're on your own. Just Google it.
What do you mean, Google it? Bob! Can we still do a pod? Bob! Bob!
We are finally back. The FatSide Podcast, bigger, better than ever. While the world has fallen to its knees, the FatSide Podcast has risen from the ashes to please. If you've been deprived of sport and miss it just as much as we had, well, look no further. Strap yourselves in. You are in for a treat at the conclusion of this very episode. All the best moments and bloopers from 2019 and more. Ladies and gentlemen, it's go time. Bobby, are you ready?
Let's get it.
Who win it now?
Here he is, bursting out like Tarzan. Turns on the right move. The package.
One last roll of the dice for Leo Barriusta, the miracle on grass.
Cyril takes a special and goes bang. Do a push up with him on top of you, Jakey. Centimetre forward.
I see it, but I don't believe it.
Boys kick the goal. Boys kick the goal. From inside the 10. Bang.
If that doesn't get you off the couch at home, nothing will. Sometimes you just gotta sit back and enjoy the show.
Yes, a massive welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is so exciting to be back, sitting here with my very, very good friend, Bobby. Bobby, how are you, mate?
Mate, I'm fantastic. It's been a troubling start to 2020, but we've got a big year ahead.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Seeing I've just woken up from
Your stasis.
Unprecedented times at the moment. Obviously, COVID-19.
Guess what, bitch? Coronavirus! Coronavirus!
Putting a stop to pretty much everything in the world, and especially what we love most, sport. It's been a very, very tough time for people like us who just love our weekly dose of sport.
Yeah, it helps keep the sanity during the week most of the time. So it has been a little bit tough, but we are getting some details that have emerged about how the AFL 2020 season will finally start to take shape. So kind of excited to navigate everyone through those and the headlines and sort of the expectations that we see for how this season might pan out today. That'll be exciting to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely, and can't wait to get stuck into it. We did have round one in front of no crowd. Very, very bizarre, wasn't it?
I would have loved that. I don't know if you've seen this, that they did it in some Japanese league where they put blow-up dolls in the crowd.
No, I didn't.
Oh man, it's hilarious. You got to see it. Just these gaping mouths, just
Really? like the clown at the amusement park.
Yeah.
Throwing the clown.
100%. But yeah, it was odd having no crowds, and obviously it's going to be no crowds for a while. It may not be crowds at all for this year, which is a crying shame, right?
Yeah,
Especially
yeah.
if we end up playing some version of a grand final. It's going to feel quite odd, but keen to see how Channel 7, who've said that they've got the canned sort of audience or crowd reactions lined up. I'm interested to see how they manage this.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about it yet. Yeah, look, I think we'll just have to have a look for ourselves when it all happens and see what we think from there going forward. But, I mean, good on them for trying something like that. There's no better time to try anything, really.
Exactly.
So,
Yep.
if you're going to try anything or make any drastic change, now's the time.
Well, mate, we're not excluded from that either. We're probably going to try a few new things this year.
Absolutely.
Traditional segments will still rate, and they will be back for another year. So we might do a bit of wisdom or waffle today, and I reckon you've got a spotlight off the back of some headlines from the last day or two as well.
Yes, absolutely. I have a massive the best timed spotlight of all time for the show. So,
Like, obviously, there are some things that are going to have to wait a while. A multi, I mean, there's not really much to punt on, is there? Oh, I'm single now, so a good market might be how long it takes until my wrist develops carpal tunnel.
Get your hand over there.
Or how much of your day is wasted on watching the angry strippers.
angry. Oh, come on, mate. It's poetry in motion. It is poetry in motion.
Fellow spends about 36% of his day involved in the world of wrestling.
There's nothing better, mate. Nothing better.
Yeah, you and a bunch of 11-year-olds. It sounds great. But let's rip into some of the facts that we've got to deal with in terms of footy. Resuming June 11, Thursday night, with a blockbuster, Collingwood and Richmond.
Yes, very exciting.
So the 4-week fixture block announced the other day gets us through to round 5, and obviously round 1 premiership points still count. Not good for your boys, but
No.
then Cats Hawks Friday. So
It's awesome.
2 days, two great classic rivalry matchups, big stage stuff. I didn't mind watching round 1. I wasn't really too fazed by the no crowd stuff, so I'm super excited for it to kick off again.
Yeah, I was excited to see what the no crowd was, but by quarter time in my game in particular, I lost interest in football. So
Fair
just
point.
from a biased standpoint there.
Other games of the round, we've got Saturday, some still to be announced in terms of their time and things like that, but Brizzy Freo, Carlton Melbourne, Port Crows, so a little South Australian derby there.
I'm really looking forward to Carlton Melbourne.
Me too,
Yeah,
because both of these teams needed a lot of. They were really required to show some forward momentum.
Yes.
Off the back of seasons from 2019, so
Yep. Melbourne's
Melbourne's got a lot to prove, and Carlton, they were really getting things working.
Yep, and it's the start of their brand new era. And
Yep.
What better way to get off to a start than to
They're not two teams that want an asterisk season.
No.
They wanted to get stuck into 2020 and
Yep.
prove
Yep.
something. And I think the Suns are in the same vein.
Yep.
They're a team where this could hurt a lot.
Yes.
They needed that momentum.
Yep.
It will give them a time to work on a game plan, but They shape up against the Eagles
Deary me.
It's going to be tough, but they do get the advantage of playing at home. And something we talked about in the back end of the last year was how robbed Gold Coast were of back-to-back home games.
Yes. Yep.
I don't think they had back-to-back home games.
They had a really
at
tough
all.
home and away run. Yep.
It was really hard.
Yeah.
So, and then Sunday, finish off the round, GWS and North, Dons versus Swans, and then, of course, your boys are taking on Sandringham. Saints. So that's Sunday's far more exciting for me than Saturday.
Yes, yeah. I couldn't agree more. Sydney Essendon's, recent history shows they're great games. They're
Yeah, they
right
should
down
be
to the
good.
wire. They're pole climbing.
The Joe Danaher Cup.
Yeah, that's it. And, St Kilda Bulldogs.
Yeah, look, it's not going to be footy as we know it, but there'll be some things that won't change, like the umps will still be maggots. There'll be a rise in domestic violence on Collingwood days.
Kane Corns will still be Kane Corns. And Damien Barrett will still be Damien Barrett.
The purple.
Yep.
But some of the small changes, no high fives, increased ball sanitisation, also happens to be the name of the advice from your GP.
Yep.
Is that right?
You filthy animal.
Yeah, I heard differently, but I don't know why you're at my appointment.
Filthy plums. So, some minor changes to the game day proceedings and stuff, the Channel 7 canned audience reactions and whatever else, but I like that idea.
Yes.
Because I don't particularly want to hear the Paleolithic grunts and clicks of Braden Maynard calling for the ball. So anything to break up. But I did love hearing the slap of the Sharon.
Yes.
During round one. It was nice.
Off the boot.
Yeah, there's something nostalgic and it's just fantastic.
Yeah.
You can feel
it just felt like you're watching local footy on television. But
it really
it's the
did.
Professionals. So it was, it was awesome. Now that we've briefly gone over everything that's happened in the world with COVID-19 and how the AFL is shaping up to restart their season June 11, no better time than to bring it back. Bring it back to the show, Bob. It is time for Wisdom or Waffle.
You cannot be serious! I am smart as the marquee.
All right, mate. Well, I'll kick us off. So I heard this a couple of months ago, and it stuck in my mind. It was Daisy Pearce, which is on SEN, and she had this to say, quote, Dustin Martin is the best player to have ever played the game. Wisdom or waffle?
Waffle. Yeah, it's straight up waffle. That feels reactionary from her. I mean, yeah, he's top 3 in the game at the moment. No question. Like, he is a superstar footballer. And not only has he got the superstar football skills, he's got the
He's got the trophy cabinet.
Yeah, he's got the trophy cabinet.
He's pretty
to back
much
it up.
done it all.
Yep,
Yeah.
He's done it all. 2017 was pretty much close to, if not the perfect season for an individual, accolades wise. And he puts bums in seats because he's an entertainer as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there's merit to her. There's merit to her argument there in the fact that, yeah, he's one of the all-time greats. He will go down as one of the all-time greats. Is he the all-time great? Absolutely not.
Well, she did quantify it a little bit afterwards. She said this is sort of based on a continued output for 4 or 5 more years, which I think is a bit of a gross assumption. This player is the best player that's ever played because of what they will do in the future. That's almost a bit of a misnomer. It's kind of not how it works. But I mean, she really lent on those things like he has done everything. He's had the perfect season. You look at his trophy cabinet. There aren't too many players playing right now that can match that.
Yep.
And he's still at his peak and still has a long way to go in terms of producing a lot of good footy, match-winning footy, etc., etc.
Yes.
So I see where she's going. He has the chance.
Yeah.
In my mind, I reckon it's a slim chance, though.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know if this Richmond team can sustain this for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to become a Hawthorn where they just stay relevant for a 10-year period.
Yep.
I think they're going to come up and they're going to come back down.
Yep.
All right, mate. Have you got one for me?
Yes. Now, it's just been announced that they're chartered aircrafts with both teams travelling on the same aircraft
Yep.
for the same game. Mm-hmm. I look at the world of sport in general, and then I compare it back to our game and the sportsmanship, the camaraderie between opponents. See, I don't see a lot of it on ground. There's a lot of, the niggles, they instead of pulling them back up, they push them back into the dirt.
Yep.
And, you don't get that on an NBA court or on a soccer field or per se. Do you think that this sort of change might bring a closer, tighter knit appreciation for
your opponent in a way? Like, do you think they'll still keep it as closed off as possible? Like, do you get where I'm coming from?
I do. It's a very good question. I would have said yes until I heard what Reece Shaw said.
Yes.
He's very unhappy about maybe having to share a flight with Essendon.
Yeah, he's not happy at all.
And I don't quite understand why. I mean, I know we gave it to him last year under his tenure. So...
Well, yeah, I've got that Reece Shaw quote for you right now.
Yep.
If we have to share... this is quote Reece Shaw, North Melbourne coach. If we have to share with another team, we'll do that. It's not ideal, especially with that team. That language, I don't like, really. And we'll just have to see how we go.
Yeah, I'm totally confused. I mean, in my mind, in the last however many years, they've got it over us because they beat us in a final.
Yes.
That we should have won.
Yep.
Right, so I think they've got the points on the board against us to not be bitter and sour. So if he's bitter and sour about fucking copping a Tipper match winner last year, when he thought he was like the next greatest thing as a coach, well then... He sounds like a bit of a sour wuss, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, but he's not even a North Melbourne man. He was never a part of that rivalry. He wouldn't understand that rivalry because he was never a part of it.
Yeah, those comments.
He's
really,
not a David King.
Really,
he's been at North Melbourne for 5 minutes.
They definitely confuse me.
Yeah.
But in general, I think it should bring the footy world a little bit closer together in terms of player relationships, and that's not a bad thing.
No, I think it could be really good for the game.
Yeah, agreed. All right, mate. I'll give you one from one of our favourites. The wrinkled lips of Carolyn Wilson spewed this out. So, regarding the Crows' breach of COVID restrictions from...
Crovid. Nice. That's very good from you, Bob.
She essentially said that for the players not to even be suspended for one game gives the impression that the players are, quote, dumb sheep who don't know better, and that it's an insult to every Australian citizen. Is that wisdom or waffle? And do you think the punishment given to the Crows players was too soft?
Yes. What wisdom? Yeah, too soft. It's too soft because each and every one of us in the country have had to stay home, and I'd love to, like, looking at the numbers based on what the government is sharing with us. I think we've done a pretty damn good job at flattening the curve, as they say. Mm-hmm. When you're a football team and a professional one, and you're the Adelaide Crows, and it just shows a lack of respect for what's happening currently. And I think that a lot of AFL I get the vibe that a lot of AFL players think they're above a lot of other people because they've been put on this pedestal most of their life.
Yeah, they get special
treatment. It's not
treatment.
always their fault, but they've been given all this special treatment.
Yeah.
And I think they get lost in the fact that they're just another human being, and we all have to pull together to do the same thing. Now, that sort of punishment is too soft because we're all out here. Like, if, say, 6 weeks ago, I was going out on a job with a bloke, or like a woman or a bloke that I don't live with, I get slapped with a $1,600 fine for sharing the front seat with them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what's the difference?
When these guys skipped off to the Barossa, probably assumed they were away from prying eyes.
Exactly.
And intentionally kind of broke the rules. Now, the other thing that you've got to frame it in is the AFL were already discussing when they would resume.
Yes.
This is not deep in the height of the lockdown where it was absolutely do not do anything. There were already people who were cheating the rules a little bit.
Yeah.
And these guys just went, oh, well, we'll do it too. It's like, mate, they were mid-discussion.
Yeah.
Committee meetings about when you would actually be able to resume. You were probably only 2 weeks away. Ridiculous.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think they've scapegoated Ben Hart as well, whacking him with a 6-week suspension and giving these guys, they did give them a suspended 1 week suspended sentence or whatever it is. They should have just whacked him.
Yep. Agreed.
And I did hear, I think it was Matty Lloyd, he rightfully pointed out, he goes, not all of these guys were kids. Some of them have been around for 4, 5, 6 years now.
Yeah.
They definitely should have known better. So I kind of agree with Caro about that. I think that's wisdom too, and I think it was a bit soft.
Yeah. Oh, very good. Oh, I've got a funny one for you.
Yep.
Damien Hardwick, from the lips of Dimmer. He can be a bit loose-lipped sometimes in press conferences. I don't know if you've heard the press conference last week.
No.
He was asked a non-football related question about his activity with his daughter on TikTok. So he did a TikTok video, and the journalist said, how's the TikTok career going, blah, 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 like in a laughing manner. And Damien Hardwick goes, oh, look, all 4 seconds of it, I didn't want to do it. I can't believe she posted it. It's embarrassing. And then he went on to say in a professional press conference, but it wouldn't be the first time I only lasted 4 seconds. So I want to know, wisdom or waffle? If he could have his time again, would he have said that? Or do you reckon that's just pure? Or do you love that sort of humour, that normality, and that humour coming from such a figure as Damien Hardwick?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
I think it makes him seem a little bit more relatable. I've watched him and Nathan Buckley soften a little bit over the last 2 or 3 years because they had to.
Yeah.
Because they, at the very start, hard man, militant about how they were clearly pushing training and game plans, and it wasn't working.
Yeah. Well, they coached the way they played, and they were fierce combatants. Like, they were some
both
of the toughest.
Both of them nearly lost their jobs because of that approach, though. Yeah. And they were clearly not getting it done. So it's nice. Yeah. He's clearly seen what it takes to be a head coach that's relatable and all those sorts. I like it.
I loved it. I thought it was really funny. And I think it made a few people in the room quite uncomfortable, but who cares?
Well, should be ashamed he's wasting his life on TikTok, but that's another story.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, I know you know.
Carol Baskin killed her husband.
So the next one.
Deleted it. Just to let you know, I've deleted it.
Our king, our god, our spiritual, Kane Corns. Now, I know you've heard this.
Yeah.
Jezelenko's mark is overrated. Wisdom or waffle?
There is wisdom and waffle. Yes. Mostly waffle. It is a fantastic mark, and it's in a grand final against their complete fiercest rivals, Collingwood.
Getting trounced at the time as well.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So it was a fantastic mark.
Yep.
The commentary made that mark what it was as well.
Agreed.
The Jezelenko You Beauty, it stands the test of time. It's in Australian sports commentary folklore forever. Is it overrated as such as the mark itself? You made a really valid point to me off air not long ago in saying that Jeremy Howe, the likes of a Jeremy Howe and a Russell Robertson in more recent time, they sort of do that every week.
Every week.
Yeah. And it doesn't lose its gloss from those two. Like, that is just, you expect it from them, but every time they do it, you still go, oh, amazing. So is it overrated as such as, like, is it the greatest mark of all time? It's not the greatest mark of all time, but it's not overrated. I think it's been rated correctly all this time. I just think Kane Corns was scratching the bottom of the barrel for anything controversial. And he found an iconic moment in our game, and he tried to tear it down. What I really hated, though, was Jezelenko's daughter's response.
Oh, yeah.
That was,
very self-important, that girl.
Self-important, and, I didn't side with her on that front at all.
No, I mean, what is she? I think she used words like disgraceful.
Disgusting.
Disgusted.
Like,
yeah,
come on,
yeah.
man. Like,
it's just, that's inflammatory language, but Kane Corns, yeah. So if any of you didn't hear it, he did say if we just look at the mark in isolation as a physical act, it's not incredibly impressive.
Yes.
And yeah, it's probably not.
Because in isolation, the first mark that comes to mind in isolation is Liam Ryan in the 2018 Grand Final just before it got to Dom Sheed.
Yep.
That's just as special a mark.
Yep.
Brendan Goddard's mark in the Grand Final in 2010 is way better than Jezelenko's, in my opinion.
Agreed.
I think that is my favourite mark of all time.
That's your favourite mark?
Brendan Goddard?
Not Gary Moorcroft?
No, I hated the Gary Moorcroft. Who's Gary Moorcroft? That Melbourne player. That's right. Yeah, that redhead for Melbourne. Shut up.
Oh, dear.
Oh, you put Brad Johnson on a massive poster.
That's a poster. But yeah, I'm with you. So Kane Corns is right on a technicality, but he's an idiot.
Yes.
For like applying that technical procedure to something that clearly, like you said, it's got a lot of elements involved in what makes it a part of the story of footy.
Yeah.
The commentary, the stage it happened on, and then the turnaround that resulted, after that sort of moment. Yeah, it's part of the football story.
Yeah.
And he tried to diminish that by being a smart ass.
Exactly.
So, fuck him.
Yeah. All right. I must admit, Brendan Goddard's the second best mark I've ever seen. Because it didn't win him the game, but Leo Barry's mark won him the game. If a West Coast player had marked that in that moment, West Coast would have won the flag. So I'll retract that statement and I will put Leo Barry's mark. Not that it matters, but that's the best mark I've ever seen.
Good, most clutch mark ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, this one's close to home for me. So Lockie Hunter, moving into the 2020 season, had been given vice-captaincy of the Western Bulldogs. Obviously, unprecedented times, COVID-19, everything like that. He made a critically poor choice. Took himself behind a wheel after a few drinks and crashed into 4 parked cars. In my opinion, I still think he was punished correctly. When you're a vice captain of a football club, you cannot be doing that sort of thing. And you have no right to be in any shape or form in a leadership role going forward. I'm just going to quote Peter Gordon on SEN with Tim and Gary a few months back. Peter Gordon, quote, "Lockie is a good young man, and sadly it's a reflection of not dealing with the pressure of what a whole lot of us are under at the moment. But you can't see that as an excuse. This behaviour we don't want to see." So the way I look at that quote is that he's covering for Lockie, but then he's quickly turning it around to sort of obviously say it isn't acceptable. But I feel like he's trying to play it down a little bit.
Of course, man. He gave the excuse and then said that's not an excuse.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
you
he's
don't-
contradicted his own statement.
Yeah, you don't give it in that order
Yeah.
if you don't want to use the excuse.
Yeah. So I'm a Western Bulldog supporter, as everyone knows. I was disgusted with what happened. It's embarrassing that a vice cap, and I don't want that on our club. I don't want anything like that linked with our club. And I personally think he was dealt with correctly. What my wisdom or waffle to you is, Bob, in your opinion, was that too hard or too soft or just right? Wisdom or waffle?
Oh, this is tricky. So I've got two ways of looking at this. The incident itself and then your club's track record. So if I'm looking at your club, not enough. Because, I mean, you reached the heights that you reached in 2016 and everyone knows the party culture was not under control after that.
Yeah.
And Bevo clearly didn't have a handle on it or what happens within the four walls of the club, and it meant that you went straight back down.
Yeah, so it's glaringly obvious that since 2016, Jack Redpath, Clay Smith, Shane Biggs, Libber to an extent, I mean, he's still playing with us, but
Dalhouse, apparently.
off to Geelong, Jake Stringer off to Essendon.
Yeah.
There was a terrible culture within the club there at one point. And, that was just to touch on what you said.
Yeah. So
and a little bit of that's crept back in.
So the rot didn't get cut away.
No.
In effect, this is what I'm saying. You lost good players because of mismanagement.
Yes.
Because due around off-field behaviour.
Yeah.
And that hasn't been corrected. Some players just left, and it would appear, based on this Lockie Hunter thing, there's an assumption that, the bad eggs are gone.
Yeah.
Well, it might be the club culture.
Yes.
It might be. And it's very fixable because you're not that bad.
No.
Collingwood's had it for decades. And they can't get rid of it. This latest Jordan De Goey thing, it's impossible for them to shake it.
Yes.
They keep drafting dickheads.
Yeah.
Which doesn't help. But
yes. Yeah.
Lockie Hunter didn't look like that type of guy.
No.
Which is why it's a bit of a shame.
And I think at the time when they awarded him vice captain, I think in the club's mind that's the safe option. He's the stand-up guy. You know, he doesn't. You know, he just behaves himself. He's never stood out of line. But then he's done one of the worst things in our club's history.
So
in a way.
there's like a couple of things to put in perspective then. Do you overreact and whack him way harder than is necessary to send a message, but risk him maybe ending up feeling a bit dismayed about the treatment and maybe eventually wanting to leave? That's a good point. Is it a contract year? Is it not? Like, who knows? Like, there are other factors where you don't want good players that you've developed to keep leaving.
Look, at the end of the day, I'm at peace with the punishment that was laid down. He's out of the leadership group. Fair enough. Leaders can't do that, and that just won't be tolerated. And to be fair, I think it's just best that he learns from that, the club learn from that, and I hope they have, and we can just move forward and focus on what we haven't been very good at lately, and that's football.
Agreed. 100% agreed. All right, mate. Well, that was Wisdom or Waffle. Now, you said this might be the most perfectly timed spotlight ever. So you better deliver, big fella. All right, it is time for Jack's Spotlight.
Say that again. Holy shit, Jamie, pull that video up.
The legend that is Lance Buddy Franklin. He has torn another hamstring in a regulation running drill, Bob. And he is 7 years into a 9-year deal, $1 million a season. I'm shining the spotlight on Buddy Franklin because, in my personal opinion, this could be stumps or the start of a really, really bad end to what has been a legendary career.
Yes, agreed.
And to go back on what you said earlier regarding Daisy Pearce talking about Dustin Martin, this guy is one of the greatest of all time. I
kind of agree with that. I'm amazed personally when people say that he's like the best modern day player ever, put him above Gaz Jr.
Yeah. No one's above Gaz Jr.
I can't follow that logic, but I can see why they might want to.
Yes.
Because he's right up there.
Yeah.
In terms of still living legends playing the game.
Well, you look at his size, his pace, his skill.
But what, 33, 34?
Yeah.
And in the modern day, your body's about to start falling apart.
Yeah.
Something's not right there. My personal opinion is a lot of that is probably because he hasn't looked after himself very well across the journey.
Yeah.
But yeah, pure raw talent, amazing.
Yes.
Absolutely, like one of the peak performers we've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what I wanted to get stuck into on the spotlight, Bob, is now that he's done another injury and another setback for him, when I remember, midway through last year, I remember the updates about how like he's looked the best he has, and then he goes and gets injured again. And it's just been a vicious cycle of rehabs, comebacks, injuries, rehabs. It's just a vicious cycle at the moment. My question I pose to you is, as a whole, the investment the Sydney Swans and the AFL made in 2014 to get Lance Franklin, get him out of the three-peating Hawks that hadn't got there yet in the three-peat, to get him out of Hawthorn, get him up to Sydney, win or a complete bust?
I think I'm leaning one particular way, but I don't think it's set in stone yet. I think there's a little bit more to be written in this story. And what happens, as you rightly said, like this 2020 is season 7, so technically he's got year 7, 8 and 9 of his contract still to play out. But if you're right, and this, okay, it might not be stumps, but we might be...
Yeah, it might be being a bit dramatic.
We might be looking at what we got last year, which is Buddy's going to play 10 games a year.
Yep.
But there is no chance of him being a preeminent forward ever again.
Yeah.
So, look, I did crunch some numbers, which helped paint the picture a little bit. Since moving to Sydney, he's won 2 Coleman medals.
Yeah.
2014, 2017. He's been their leading goal kicker every year except last year. 4 All-Australians. One of them is an All-Australian captain. I don't know how much people remember about that, but a couple of those selections, and especially the captaincy, are a bit dubious.
Yeah, the captaincy was very dubious.
And there was at least one selection in there which I didn't think he deserved, but he has gone at 3 goals per game for every game that he's played for them. That's his average.
Remarkable. Yeah.
That is a real return.
Yeah.
When you look at it like that. But since the 2016 finals, I reckon his mojo's looked broken.
Yeah.
Definitely broken. 7 goals from 4 games in the postseason since then.
Yep.
His last 2 finals games, the semi against the Cats in 2017 and GWS elimination 2018, goalless. So the decline's happening.
Yep.
Now, there was an interesting argument that I heard put forward by Nick Del Santo, and it's the bump in memberships. I had no idea about this. So I went and crunched some of the numbers there. 2013, that was a post-flag year for the Swans.
Yep.
They had 33,000 members. So they'd struggled quite a lot between 2007 and 2013 for memberships. In 2014, once they got him, immediately it jumped to over 40,000. It's now over 60,000.
Wow. That's unbelievable.
Right.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So last year, it was over 60,000 members.
That's incredible.
So there's a return on investment financially that
Yes.
you probably have to say win in that column. So if we're looking at all those things, the total output
Talk about putting bums in seats, mate.
total
Jeez.
output so far of 3 goals a game, that's probably a tick as well.
Yep.
Finals performances, it has to be a no.
Yeah.
Not good enough. This is what you bought him for.
Yep.
You bought him because he's a big stage player. And every chance he's had to be on the big stage in the last 3 years has been an utter failure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a
Got a bit of a LeBron finals feel to it, doesn't it?
rough. But yes.
It does, though.
It really does. So, and at this point in time, he's played 118 out of a possible 145 games for Sydney. So it's a bit over 80%.
Yeah.
So if you stopped it now, yeah, I reckon they've got return on their investment.
Yep.
But these next 3 seasons that have to be played out, this year included, I think is what is going to paint the clearest picture.
Yep.
And I said this to you earlier, it'll either be, it's debatable, but it'll either be 5 good years and 4 trash years.
Yep.
Or flip that around, 4 good, 5 trash.
Yeah.
That is not good enough.
No.
If that's how it falls, which is the way it looks like it's going. So, in my opinion, they got him to be a big stage game breaker. Instead, they've got this broken former heavyweight who's lost his jab, and he's clearly on the ropes every week just trying to get through running drills.
Yes. Yeah.
He's now an anchor in a team that's trying to move forward and rebuild.
Yeah.
Yep. So the numbers you crunch, membership, that is phenomenal. So he's done his job. He's done his job, and that's worked. His 3 goals a game's remarkable stat, and a remarkable average. But I look at team success, and they've had 2 opportunities. 2014, 67 points, I think, against. They were blown off the park in 10 minutes of football.
Yep.
And 2016, they were the minor premiers. They had smashed Geelong in the prelim final at the same ground. They got torn apart by my mob.
Yep.
We finished 7th place. Ideally, that was, if there's any flag that you could call the one that got away, it's 2016. They should have won that premiership.
Well, if he exploded in that game, they would have won.
And he had. So I was there, obviously, and very unlucky. But same again, he got injured.
Yep.
Yep. So he clipped his ankle and he was straight in the rooms. Came back out, heavily taped. I think he kicked 1 or 2 remarkable goals.
Yeah.
From long
range.
range.
He didn't do nothing.
Yeah, he didn't do nothing. But he had no further influence in the game. And he, unfortunately, is on the tail end of Western Bulldogs folklore. The Dale Morris tackle, the Tom Boyd goal.
Oh, iconic.
Iconic. I think I look at his body language when he got tackled and his face. I think that was the first time Buddy Franklin felt truly vulnerable on a football field.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Because he didn't even head check like he was going to get tackled.
No, he was about to take off like Buddy Franklin would, like the Kale Hooker takeoff back in the day. Like, he was about to go full Buddy Franklin.
Absolutely.
And he had a bloke with fractures in his back tackle him. Remarkable. And yeah, it was written all over him.
Yeah, he's been very human since then.
Yeah.
My answer to your question, I don't think we've seen the final picture yet.
Yeah.
But it's leaning towards looking not very pretty.
Yeah, and all the help that Sydney received from the umpires that day. I'm just joking. No. I mean, it's open for debate. Any listeners out there that do follow the Sydney Swans, please feel free to leave,
Your membership's at the door.
Yeah. Well, I know one in particular has been through the microwave a few times since 2016, so yeah, just never really known what it feels like to be a vulnerable club. But anyway, look, yeah, very interesting, and there's still a lot of time to watch this space.
All right, mate. Well, that was a pretty good spotlight. Look, there's not much else to talk about.
No.
This week, as we get closer to the actual kickoff of round 2, we'll have our traditional tips. We'll get the teams out there, make some predictions, start our frothy competitions going again and stuff like that. There's a few things that we probably could have touched on, like what ICE has been doing to grown men in the off-season.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
But it's probably not necessary. It's being covered, and these are people's personal lives and reputations. So I will have stabs at them throughout the entire season.
Yes.
And
yes, Bob, I'm sure you will, and I very much look forward to it. But as you said, Bob, there's not a real great deal to talk about as of yet, but I believe we've got a special treat.
Yes, well, we just want to leave you, lovely ladies and gentlemen, with a reminder of how goddamn amazing we are. So here's a package of some of the funny shit and all the good predictions and all the crazy stuff that Jacko's done. And how I've held the ship straight over the course of last year, just to give you guys a reminder of what's to come in what will be a very big 2020.
Yes, no, you're right, Bob. I was certainly a bit of a Lockie Hunter behind the mic last year, but, we'll only get better from this. Anyway, look, don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, see what we're up to. Catch up with all the latest news as it drops. And, yeah, Bob, it's been great to be back with you in studio.
Certainly has. Hooroo, mate.
Hooroo, champ.
Wisdom Waffle is here. Jack's multi. Bobby, are you ready? Because I am.
And we get back into the nitty-gritty in the second half of the AFL season. Bobby, you're ready, aren't you?
Ready to roll, mate.
Woo! Woo!
Right now, right here.
A Rick James bitch! What the fuck was I just thinking?
This might be a little bit biased, but we run this show, so you just have to suck it up.
On tonight's edition of... I thought that was the mic.
Fuck it.
Geelong Hawthorn for mine is gaming around for me. Just wanted to... just wanted to analyse this real quick. Cut that, Well, they're in two minds whether to do this with the ball or that with the ball. You fiddled a deed a few potatoes. I have no idea why I just said that, but not bad.
I want to hear some of your future predictions, Jacko. Who have you got, and in what order, for your top 8 by the end of the year?
But look, I've got Geelong finishing top of the ladder. They're 2 games clear at the halfway mark, and I think after a break they're going to be even more rejuvenated. I've got Fremantle Dockers returning to finals footy, finishing 7th. I've got Richmond just nipping the 8.
The injury-ravaged Richmond will be ready for the bye, mostly so they can plan their September holidays. Now, who do you have to make the grand final in your eyes, considering you've just told me your top 8?
It'll be a repeat of the 2011 grand final. It's going to be Geelong Pies for mine.
Nice. Well, look, I've got the Cats and the Eagles, so who have you got to take home Charlie this year, Jacko?
Tim Kelly for mine.
But I have Patrick Cripps. Who do you have to win the Coleman?
Oh, Tom Hawkins. Yeah,
me too.
I just think his form will carry through for the rest of the season.
Who do you have to win your club's BNF at the Bulldogs, Jacko?
I have Caleb Daniel winning our best and fairest. Who wins the Essendon best and fairest, Bob?
It's going to be Zach Merritt. With the game balancing tighter than Ben Cousins' sobriety, the Saints... in place of Dane Quaddy Beams.
You did not just go there.
But the Collingwood forwards in the... There you go. They were more accurate than the great Peter North, cashing in on almost... But look, hilarious moment of the week. Poor Scotty Thompson, he blew a piston. The AFL has been derelict in its duty to protect the future of the game by not mandating for all players to have a sufficient agate protection sack. They are jeopardising the future of the game and humanity itself. I expect a serious Elon Musk engineered space agate basket, silk-lined, well-ventilated man egg holder. These are our future first-round picks at stake. He emerged out of the dungeon where Don Fritzl Pike stashes the kids.
Yeah. Don Fritzl Pike.
They were about as accurate as a post-shag piss in the dark, but he is tougher to shut down than Jack at karaoke.
In your head, in your head.
This is getting out of hand. You know, Mitch McLovin, he had a great Kransky at halftime. He, from all sources told, the chips were at a good lukewarm temperature, and the ratio between sauce and mustard has never looked better for him. So good on him. Both teams look like they're not going to make finals. North Melbourne still have a slim chance, but probably slimmer than Christian Bale from the Machinist. So that is very slim.
Oh, definitely slim.
Definitely slim. String is going to be a hungry pit bull.
He might not be flying over.
Scratch that. He'll be a hungry pit bull watching from the couch.
Yeah.
Yeah. In his commission flat in Coburg.
He's touching base. Jesus. They expect to play finals in 2020. Wisdom or waffle?
This is a fat side first, and I'm going to say it. Fucking waffle. I am so sorry to my close friends. Not really, but we'll digress. I think St Kilda, that caretaker coach sort of... Why is it always when they're versing the Bulldogs? It just... I'm sick of it. We'll win just because we're a bit better. We're a bit better than the Saints. And Bont or no Bont, we're just too strong in the midfield.
What about you?
My worst case scenario is a little bit biased, but my boys losing to St Kilda. That's the worst case scenario for us. We've just won three really good games in a row.
A few moments later.
The next minute or two should be titled Paddy's Revenge. The Western Rollover Dogs were horrible. They got absolutely rattled. They wet the bed.
Jack has left the chat.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it.
I've got absolute craziness for you, Bob.
Yeah, no negatives on the night. The worst thing was probably you squirting dead horse all over a Palmer. It's childish and it's disgusting. Alright, so that's our games of the round. Who's your first vote going to?
Yeah, it goes to me. Tomato sauce on a Palmer is delicious, and if you haven't tried it, guys, make sure you try it. I wouldn't think anyone heard that, but I've just admitted it. So everyone, haha, laugh it up. Anyway. Yeah, I'll spill my beans after you spill yours.
And I just jizzed in my pants, remembering it right then and there. Yeah. 600 metres gained in the second half.
Bob.
I've had a lot of oysters this week. Yeah, hilarious.
Very cheeky.
Very cheeky. My 5 votes. Of course, it goes to your boy, it goes to Josh Dunkley. You took Taranto last week over him.
I don't know what you're talking about. Fantastic. And for the record, I picked Taranto based on the team he plays in. When really individually, yeah.
Yeah, which is probably why you took him over your boy Dunkley.
Well, that's exactly why.
Yeah,
and
but
stop bringing it up. But yeah, so my honest tip, I actually think Aston Villa will get there. I cannot believe it was
Yeah, we will finish at the end of the show with a special little Nah, that sounds terrible.
over the last month since the bye. Really, they've won 3.
That's all, folks.
There's one tier foils. Oh, it's just, goosebump stuff. That it's just stuff of legends. Just what a team.